They were born under the same crown, raised in the same palace, and told the same light that love would protect them. It didn't. Their father ruled with a steady hand, a king shaped by wars he no longer spoke of. Courtiers praised his balance, his patience, his restraint. But everyone in the palace understood the unspoken truth. When he died, the crown would choose only one daughter, and blood would decide the rest. The elder sister learned this early. She was calm, careful, and endlessly watched. Tutors praised her posture, her memory, her silence. She was raised to rule, taught that survival came from patience, from obeying tradition, from waiting until the world bent on its own. She believed the throne rewarded those who endured. The younger sister learned something different. She was fire, quick and sharp, ignored in rooms where decisions were made. Overlooked by ministers who spoke past her, overruled by customs older than her name. She learned early that silence never wins thrones. Power favored the bold, and mercy was only offered to the strong. At court they smiled like loyal daughters. They prayed together beneath painted ceilings. They shared stories of childhood corridors, of secret games, of dreams whispered under blankets when the world felt kind. Servants saw unity, nobles saw harmony. The kingdom saw stability, but behind closed doors everything hardened. Allies were chosen carefully, words were weighed like weapons, promises were written to be broken. Loyalty became currency and everyone wanted to be paid. The elder sister trusted tradition. She believed laws would protect her, that bloodlines mattered more than ambition. She read treaties, honored customs, and refused to rush fate. The crown, she believed, would come to her because it was supposed to. The younger sister trusted opportunity. She watched faces, tracked favors, remembered insults. She listened when others spoke carelessly, storing secrets like daggers. In kingdoms like this, opportunity always struck first, and she intended to strike before she was erased. Winter came early the year their father fell ill. Snow sealed the gates, and cold crept into every hall. The king grew weak, his voice reduced to whispers, his strength leaking away day by day. Physicians lied, priests prayed, ministers prepared. The palace changed before anyone admitted it had. Doors were locked that had always been open. Messengers vanished into the night and never returned. Guards began taking orders from unfamiliar voices. Seals were broken, letters burned. The sisters felt it immediately. The elder sister stayed close to her father's chamber, trusting duty to shield her. She refused to move without permission, refused to anger the council, refused to believe her sister would move against her. Blood, she told herself, still mattered. The younger sister moved quietly. She visited allies after dark. She promised protection, advancement, survival. She reminded men of old slights and future rewards. She understood fear better than hope, and she used it well. When the king finally died, bells rang across the city. Mourning cloth covered the palace. Candles burned through the night. The people wept for a ruler they feared losing long before he was gone. Inside the throne room, grief lasted only minutes. Declarations were read. Claims were challenged. Witnesses were dismissed. The elder sister stepped forward, armed with law and legacy. The younger sister stood opposite her, armed with loyalty she had already purchased. The court fractured instantly. Some knelt, some hesitated, some fled. By nightfall, the sisters no longer shared corridors. Guards escorted them separately. Meals were taken in silence, if at all. Letters crossed the kingdom, each naming a different queen. The elder sister waited for justice. The younger sister prepared for war. Their first confrontation was polite, cold smiles, careful words. Each accused the other of misunderstanding the king's will. Each promised peace while sharpening knives beneath the table. Then came the arrests. A counselor loyal to the elder sister disappeared. A priest who spoke against the younger was found silent forever. Accusations spread like rot. Treason became an easy word to use and impossible to escape. The people began to choose sides, markets whispered, taverns argued, soldiers watched the palace with hungry eyes. The kingdom felt the strain like a crack spreading through stone. The elder sister issued proclamations calling for unity. The younger sister answered with action. Fortresses changed hands overnight. Coins were struck with new symbols. Oaths were demanded, and refusal became dangerous. Blood was spilled first in the countryside, far from the throne, then closer, then within the city walls. The sisters no longer spoke. When they passed each other in court, they did not meet eyes. There was nothing left to say. Childhood had burned away, leaving only rivals shaped by the same crown and driven by different truths. Each remembered the same father differently. One remembered his warnings about chaos. The other remembered his silence when she was ignored. Memory itself became a weapon, reshaped to justify what came next. The elder sister realized too late that patience looked like weakness. The younger sister realized too late that ambition leaves no room for mercy. The throne stood between them, cold and unforgiving. And before either woman could claim it fully, the kingdom itself began to break. War drums echoed in distant provinces. Foreign powers watched closely, ready to profit from collapse. Merchants hid their gold. Mothers hid their sons. Every road carried rumors, and every rumor carried fear. The crown no longer represented order. It represented survival. Whoever seized it would inherit not peace, but a wounded realm already bleeding from within. And still, neither sister stepped back, because retreat meant erasure, and erasure was a fate worse than death for women born to rule. History was already sharpening its pen. In silence, this was not the end. It was the moment everything became irreversible. In Part 2, the first betrayal happens in the dark, and one sister crosses a line that can never be uncrossed. Subscribe to continue the story.